Hello, everyone. This is Shelby here. This is our class on creating clip art mockups in bulk using Canva. I just want to make sure that I am live. Yeah, it looks like I'm good. And hopefully I can keep an eye on the comments this time. I had a little bit of tech issues last time. It's coming through the phone now. Okay, I think we're good to go, which is exciting. So, yes, okay, one more time. My name is Shelby, and in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to create clip art in bulk using Canva. Clip art mockups, sorry, specifically mockups using the Canva bulk create feature. Now, I learned this method from Liz Peck. She is a wonderful person to follow if you're not following her. She has helped me really streamline things in my business. So I learned how to do this bulk create from a video that she did on her YouTube. And she also has an automation that I will link for you guys that is that helps you to automate your listing process on Etsy, which is also absolutely fantastic. Has saved me so much time. So I wanted to do this video because although Liz's video is fantastic, it doesn't get into the specifics of how you actually do this with clip art. And I had a few people asking me for help on how do I actually do this if I'm using it in the clip art niche. So let's dive in. I'm actually going to be working with my packs and we're going to do this live because that's how I like to do things. Okay, so in Canva, you're going to start by going to create. And then we are going to go to sheets. So we're going to do this into a sheet and we'll just do a blank sheet. Now you will need to start by creating your sheet, which will be kind of shows what information is going to get pulled. So what we want to do first is we want to have the title. And that is the title that's going to be pulled onto your clipboard. Actually, let me back up 1 second and just show you. I have went ahead and created a mock-up for myself that I'm going to be using for this. So one thing to note is that my packs usually, I would say they go up to like 48. That's probably like a max for me with my packs. Depending on what your maximum is for your clip art packs, make a template that hits that maximum. Because it's easy to remove. It's not as easy to add on later. It's easier to forget if you have to add them on later, but removing images, as I'll show you in the process, is a bit easier. So that's why I've done it. My mock-up is 48 images. This is how my style of mock-up. So I would just say do whatever your style of mock-up is. Then I break down each image here, which I know most people are doing that. Definitely recommend it. And then you can see here I have transparent backgrounds. I don't ever change this. These are just some ideas of what you can do. I say it's a commercial license pack. Again, I say how many are included, the date, just an image kind of showing the transparency. And then this actually goes on all mine. And so that's kind of my breaker where I know, okay, I don't need to go any further. Those are my like core mock-ups, if that makes sense. Then I don't know if we'll maybe get into that in this, but this is Pinterest pins. So I also use this process to make myself pins at the same time. So I have two, I have two. I don't always use both. Sometimes I just use one. It depends how I feel. Obviously this is a template, so this does not because you're going to want to move things around later. And then this is my Instagram one that I use. So then I should really have some kind of breaker in there so I know, but I just kind of know by looking at the size. That's obviously Pinterest and this is Instagram. And so then I do a mock-up at the same time of putting it on Pinterest. And then if I wanted to, you can see I have all these ahead, but really these are mock-ups that I had purchased from somebody. But I can drop the images right into this. And then when I do my editing, I can put that image on. These are great. Okay. So that is some kind of pre-work that you need to do is you need to duplicate one of your mockups, ideally one that has a high, like the highest number, or edit it so it has the highest number of kind of what your max would be on Clipart, at least what you mostly think your max would be. And then, because if you do need to add a few more, it's not, as long as you remember, it's okay. Then do your core pages, which I would say are these pages for me. Okay, let's go back to our sheet. And I am trying to keep an eye on the comments. So if there are comments, please let me know and I will. Oh, hi, Anne. Okay, just saying now. Um, hello, hello. Happy to have you here. Okay, so yeah, if there's questions, let me know. But yeah, so across the top, we want to have the title, and this is the title that's going to be pulled onto here. So this one was called Thanksgiving Frogs. So you want to put the actual name of the that you're going to want on it. Then we have the number of images. This is also important because you'll see later that I am going to connect that to any time that I have 48. Then we just kind of do our images. So when I originally set it up, I did it kind of like main image 1, main image 2, main image 3. And you don't have to do it like this. You could just say image. And I don't know that I actually always stick to this, but that's kind of what I did. And so I would do these as my 4 main images. So just in my head, okay, if I know in a pack, those are like my favorite, I'm going to put those in that spot. I have to say sometimes it gets confusing, and I'll explain that more when I'm actually putting in the images. And so I just don't do it. But then I usually, at least before, I've been a little not as great with it lately, but I do try to do like a quote image usually in my pack, at least one. So then I was writing image 5 quote. And if you don't end up doing that as a quote image, it's fine. But I just know that like I like to have my quotes right here. That's just generally what I do. Obviously not in this pack, but and then I just could just say the rest of the images, or sometimes I say like accent image because I know those are gonna still write 6 there. Because I know these are gonna be like my little images that I fill in. So I'll say accent image 6. And then I would just, we'll do one more. Then I would just write the rest of the 11 images. Now, I don't know if there's a way to speed that up. Let's see. No, it just repeats it. So I'll just do this, 15. And I actually have this in another spreadsheet. I just wanted to do another spreadsheet to show you guys the process and make sure it doesn't click over any of my stuff. So I'll just copy this for sake of time. But you'll have to put image all the way up into the amount that you have. So for me, I would need to do 48. So let me just copy another spreadsheet. Oh, that did not work. Let's try it. Okay, that worked. And I think I actually only have 42 on here, so I need to go a little farther. Doesn't want to let me go over. Having it 2. Let's see if this is going to do more to the right. Image 43, image 44. Oh, and once you set this up once, you don't have to set it. So that's why I just say go with the biggest. Okay. And then you do need to make sure you have an extra column at the end. If you didn't, it probably would add it automatically, but when it's done, it's going to add the design there. And that's just automatic, so you don't even need to. Okay, that's it for setting it up. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put your prints in. So let me just take a look for me. So I have a tracker that I keep everything in. And I do have this available for purchase if anybody wants it, but it is how I keep track of everything that I am working on. So you can see it's a little crazy. But I would like, once I find a trend, I'll throw it in here. Then if I've started planning it with ChatGPT, I'll throw that in here. The link is easy for me to grab. If I've started creating the images, the status will make it move up. So then I put down what AI tool I started creating the images with. So that's easy for me to return back to. These are images created, so I know, okay, those are done, but for me, that usually means they haven't been downloaded yet. That's just my process. They've been upscaled. There are some in between here, like background removed, but the DPI changed. I have to say lately, I've just been going all the way from upscale to putting them into the drive just so it's over with. So these are all packs. I have a lot that I have ready, and we're not going to do them all today. Because another thing to note is that, hello, Nikki, is that there is a limit on this. I believe it's 300. It's half folded. There's a limit of 300 images. You can't even if I wanted to do all of these, I couldn't right now. But I would say I can usually do like, I don't know, about like 10 to 12, 8 to 12, let's say, depending how many are in the pack. So if I have a pack that's like only 14, but then I have a pack that's like 37, it will make a difference. Okay, so I should do these Easter bunnies because it is coming up, my Easter one. So what I would do is okay, let's get that. That's my, I have to say too, I'm not going to show this in this process, but usually I would use, maybe I'll show it quickly, but usually I would use my product tracker that I was talking about that I got from Liz Peck. And I would do that at the same time. So these are mockups I've already started. And so I would go here and I would paste the title in also. And then I would also come in here and grab the link of where I have it stored on Google Drive. So I'll see Mr. Bunny. And I would grab that. And that's just to save me time here. And then I would grab my price too, which I keep my prices in this spreadsheet somewhere. So I said, and that helps me know how many images too. So I do it all at the same time. So I can see there was 24 images in this. I know because when I save it into my Google Drive, I put how many in. So let's go back to here, 24 images. And then because it's 24 images, hopefully this isn't too confusing. I'm jumping around a little bit. But because it's 24 images, I go back to my pricing chart and I go, okay, if it's between 16 to 30 images, I think I actually recently upped my prices. So I'm not sure. I can't remember if these are the up prices. I don't think they are. I also put it here. Oh, those are prices. Okay, so I would put $7.49 here as my price. That's all I would do on here until I'm done the mock. So I can show that process because I know some of you, I know Nikki, you said you just got the automation from Liz, and I know some of you might be using it. So I'll show that step quickly, but I won't spend too much time on it. So I put Easter Bunny and I put the number. I'm going to do a few packs. So, and then again, to keep track for myself, because I would look how much I have going on. If I wasn't to use this tracker, I would be so lost. So now that I have Easter Bunny, I'm going to change it to creating mockups. Then I know I've started the process of creating my mockups. I have an Easter duck, so I'm going to do that one next. And then again, I also just do this part because that's how I know how many I kept in. There may be other ways that you store that. Copy link. So Easter duck. Price right now. And then I'll change that to creating mockups. And we have Easter duck with 30 images. Let's do a couple more just to show you that this really is bulk. Hello, hello. Oh, so nice to have people tuning in live. Okay, I'm just looking. This is my list of things I have ready. Frosted animal cookie. It should be pretty easy. Frosted animal cookies. And what you could do if you want to use something like this is you can write number of images into this. And that could be a way to store it because I have like so much information in my Notion tracker of what I'm storing. Like I said, um, the product type. Like right now, I'm specifically looking at Clipart packs because single images I would do differently. Seamless patterns I would do differently. I could put the pricing here too, and that would save me time later. It's also just another step to fill it. So, anyways, for those who are just jumping on, we are creating Clipart mockups in bulk using Canva. So I've created a spreadsheet and I've put title, number of images, and right now we're just putting in the packs that we want to create. So the title, and that's the title that will show up on the Clipart mockup, and the number of images, which will also show up on the mockup. So let me look at my frosted animal cookies. And I can see that it's 18. And for the sake of this mock-up, I think I'll pause there and we'll do these 3 packs. But just know, like I said, you can have up to 300 images. So I could like highlight this and you can see here, the sum is 72. That's how I can kind of keep track that I'm not going over. I think it's 300. That's, I'll have to double check. I tried to look it up. I couldn't find the answer. But I know there is a limit, and I know that it's told me before. I've been in the middle of adding a pack, and it's like, you have too many images, so then I just erase them, and I go with what I have already entered in. Okay, so part of my process, as you saw from my tracker, well, kind of, you didn't really see, but the step that I have said here, it's images added to G Drive, Google Drive, and Canva. So I do that as soon as my images are done, and I may have showed that on the last tutorial when I showed kind of my clipboard process, but as soon as my images are done, I add them to Google Drive. So that's where we were grabbing and seeing how many we had from there. And then I also add them to Canva. And I should have said this already. Sorry, I'm clicking too much. You do need a Canva Pro account to do this. And also for me to add all the images that I add, you would need a Canva Pro account because I know that Canva limits how much like storage space you have on the free account. So that doesn't mean you couldn't do this. You could upload them, then you could delete them after. But my process with the Pro account, which I recommend, is this way. So I have a folder called, well, I can just search. I didn't search my Easter, but I do have a folder that's just all my clip art. It's inside of that. So I search Easter Bunny, I go to folders, and then it comes up at the top because they are sorted by newest. So it's last time I've edited it. Okay, now this part is tedious, but it's just part of the process. All of this is a little tedious, to be honest, but it does allow you to get it done in bulk. So I think it's worth it. At first, I was resistant to this process. I'll be completely honest. I had saw Liz's video. I had a friend telling me that she was doing it, and I was like, no, I'll just stick with what I'm doing. And then I actually tried it, and I was like, why did I do this sooner? It is actually so much faster. Okay, so like I said, I'll flip over here and I'll show you, this is kind of the mock-up template that I'm going to be using. So I know I kind of want to say like, these are my main elements. So sometimes what I would do is I would go through the pack and pick my favorites. Where I was saying that gets confusing is if, let's say I want this bunny, so you just click it and it'll go into the square. You click the square you want and you'll click the next one. And let's say I didn't want that one. I did it on accident. I can click the square and press the backspace. But let's say I clicked that bunny and then I went down here and I clicked this bunny and then I went up here and I clicked this bunny. That can sometimes get confusing for me because I'm like, oh, what did I miss? And you have to make sure you've got all of them. So to be honest, I'll just go in order a few times or just be like really careful that I'm not missing any bunny. Okay, so I hope that made sense. Like I said, here if you have questions. So let's just make sure we've got everyone. And sometimes I just click through because that's the fastest way to do it. So I think I'm actually going to do that. These I just started. This is the first pack I've done this, but I'm gonna give these, well, at least in a really long time, I'm gonna give these digital backgrounds. I actually want to play around with these packs to see if I can use backgrounds as backgrounds on the mockup. See the bunting flags? Like I would always stick those. And then the quote technically should put here. But again, like you don't have to set it up like that. You can just say image. You'll see what I mean when I actually put it together. There's another quote, but that's fine. And some of these aren't going to make it on your mock-up cover, as you when you're making mock-up. That one's cute. Okay, so just double checking. Oh, I was going to say there should be 20. It's because of my digital papers. Yeah, and too bad there's not a faster way to add them. Okay, so 24 images, 24 images. You just want to double check that you've done that correctly. Let's move on to the next one, which is Easter duck. So you can see I kind of put everything in there, but it's just faster to search it. Folders, Easter ducks. Did I write the wrong number? No, it should be 30. I think I wrote the wrong here. I'm going to double check, so I'll show you how to do it. Because this doesn't tell me how many images are here. I don't have a way to like control all, but I can pull it up in a different spot. So my Clipart creations, it's where I stored it all. And it should be, yeah, okay. So it does have 30 items in it. I just named it there. Going back, let's name this also. We'll say Canva bulk Clipart. So I do already have this set up somewhere else. But okay, let's do the same thing. So I think right away I'll just put in my accent image or my quote image, and then I'll start adding docs. Do those as 4. Then I'll add accent images, flowers, basket, read those Easter ducks. Again, just making sure I'm not skipping anything. Hi, Angela. These guys turned out so cute. And I mean, checking at the end how many, like, that I have the right amount of images is going to help me see if I did accidentally miss something. But it just can be, like, tedious and time consuming trying to find what you missed. And I'm all about doing things quick. We need to get those uploads in our store. Let's do these. I'm doing these at the end because I think that's how I'm going to want them on my mockup. Again, I don't. This is very new to me to add the digital papers. Okay, so I did miss something because I should have. So then, do I have that Easter ducks? Yeah. Sweet duckling. Half the wreath. See, this is, maybe I missed it over here. Do I have that little duck at the card? Painted flower. Oh, I think I missed those flowers. Probably did that intentionally. Now, so again, just making sure I have 30 images. Okay, and then we'll do the last one, which is not as many. animal frosted. Said animal cookies. These ones are also so bother. I'm just gonna click through. So yeah, I've found that clicking like this and doing them one by, oops, so I'll put two in the same one. I'm just gonna redo it. This is the fastest way because if you try to highlight and add them all, they go vertically instead of horizontally, which is too bad. So it's this half is the fastest way to the images is by clicking. If you drag them, I can show you. You can drag it in. I just find that takes longer and doesn't always line up properly. And I can show you what I mean too, I think. I don't even know how I did it. Oh, maybe if I went like this and tried to add them in. No, that doesn't work. I know there was a way that I added a bunch, but it went vertically anyway, so it didn't. That is 18. So just to recap, you could fit on about 300 images on here. I think it's the images. So you can add up here and be like, okay, what am I at? I'm at 72. I can do a few more packs. You're going to write the title, you're going to write the number, and you're going to add in the image. And it doesn't matter what size it is. As long as like you've already upscaled it and stuff before you've added it to Canva, so it looks good. Then I'm going to come to the end. I'm going to go as this is the longest in this pack. But you want to highlight everything that's included. So for me, I know that I have those lines. I have more lines here. I go farther down, and this is the farthest one here. So just drag it over. And I mean, there might be faster ways to do this thing. I just haven't figured it out yet. So then this is the golden part. You're going to press Actions, and you're going to go to bulk. And you can see it does have the little crown, so you do need to be on Pro for this. And you're going to press bulk create. So it's asking what is the data range. We've already selected it, so we know that's the data range. Then you're going to select the mockup that you made. And I'm hoping this doesn't save things because I have used this before. I made a note. So I clicked it, loaded them in. It takes a second. Oh, it did, but they're broken. Okay. I wanted to show you this with like a blank one. But it didn't work as I thought. I'll still be able to show you. So you'll kind of just have to ignore these links for now. So when you use one that you've used before, it has saved it for you. So it actually does save a lot of time. It's quite tedious the first time you go about it, but then it saves it. This one is showing broken links because I used a different spreadsheet. I used a different sheet. But this is how you would connect the data the first time you do it. So for the title, I'm going to want the title right there. So what you do is you right click and you press connect data and go title. Well, maybe it is going to work because that one also shows, maybe it's not a broken link, it's just a link. Okay, I can actually clean these all up so that you don't see them. And we'll just do it together from scratch. Okay, so the title, we've done that. Then we want to do the number, at least for me. That's how I do my mockups. And I'm assuming you want your number in there of how many images. So you're going to go connect data and you're going to say number of images. Now what I could do is I could go through my mockups right now and just do all those ones. So let's just delete these so that we are doing this fresh. Sorry, I was hoping I could save myself a little time by not creating the mockup, but because I've used this mockup template through this process before, I guess it remembered it. Which honestly, it's a good thing. It is normally a good thing that it remembers these because it does save you time because you'll see the connecting the data is cumbersome. And me doing this right now is cumbersome. I don't really need to do it, but I want to show you the full process so that when you go to do it, it's easy for you to know exactly what to do. So we'll pretend those were not there, because if you were starting fresh, those would not be there. So I'm just going to do it quick. Do I have some more? I have one more maybe. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to the beginning for a second. So we've done our number of images, and then we've done our title. Now, sometimes what I would do in a pack is I would say like 20 frogs and 20 supporting images. That's going to be harder to do with this process, so sometimes I will just clean that up later. For now, I'm just going to again say my number of images, which is here already connected, and then I just say unique images, something along those lines. And then I'll go to this page. It's already connected. And I would do the same thing, and I do the same thing, so that on all those mockups, it's going to pull my number of images that I have included. And then I don't have my title on here, my number of images. Don't here. Data, title, data. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. What I'm doing is I'm taking what we put on the spreadsheet as the title, and I'm taking what we put on the spreadsheet as a number of images, and I'm connecting it to the spots in the template that I would want it to pull out. Then this is where the images come. So we're going to right click again, connect data, and I'll say main image 1, connect data, main image 2, connect data, main image 3, connect data, main image 4. Because like I said, those are kind of my core images, is I like to have them there. And then you would just do the rest, and you just want to make sure you don't miss anything. So let's say connect data. I said I like to always have my quote here, so let's put the quote one here. And that's only if you do that. You don't have to do that. I want 6. Let's do 7. Let's do 8. 9. Data, and 10. You can see they all have this purple thing telling me it does get pretty cluttered, but you're hoping not to miss anything, because if you do, you'll just have that frog image or whatever your template was on all the packs, and you'll have to fix it later. And then this is the one that does take a little bit of a while, but now we're going to go through and we're going to do every single one of these. So like I said, it actually does save you a lot of time that it remembers when you use the same template. I just wanted to show you how to start something differently. But you just connect data and you go to every single one. And you can search too. So I can put in, now I'm 8, 9, speed it up a little bit, 10, or you can just scroll. And you'll want to do this for every single image. And then I'll show you again, like if you didn't have that many. So 13. 16, and you just keep going on the next page. So 17, 18, probably I could have left those because you get it now. We'll finish the process because I do plan to use these mockups. I'm all about showing you my process while I do it so that it also gets the work done for me. 9. 1. Okay, so actually, in this case, I don't have more than 30. So we'll just leave those frogs for now. Just ignore them. But yeah, the first time you're doing it, well, I would still I would still make your mock-up with a lot of images. Like I said, I have 48 because that's probably like the max that I would do. And then you would just, yeah, connect the ones that are there. And if, so say I did this and then go to use this again later, and the next time I have a pack with 32, I'll just have to remember to then connect those because it is going to remember to connect them like we saw. But if there wasn't, the first time, there wasn't 31 and 32 that I would do it, I'll just have to easily add them. Hope that makes sense. And we'll just choose some random ones here. With this, you just want to be careful. Like one of my packs, I only had 18, right? So I'm not going to want to choose image 20 for this because then it's just not going to hold that image. So I'll try to stay a little bit under. So 12. And you can change these later if you're going to fiddle with things, but it still is going to save you time. So I'm just literally choosing ones for this. I try to choose like a little bit different than what I did on the main page. I might do some. Those are usually my favorite images. These are the ones that I do in the beginning of the pack. Okay. So yeah, feel free to jump in if any of this isn't making sense. Already did my title, already did my number. Okay, now I'm not going to bother with showing you the pins. It would be the same process. As you can see, they're all linked already there, so you'll kind of see those anyways. And same with, honestly, for the Instagram post, I've actually just been copying my mockup, bringing it over to the Instagram size, and then like refitting it so it fits that size. So I don't actually even use this one anymore. And these ones I do use for the Instagrams, but you can see they're all already linked. Number is linked. And then I would grab my mock-up. This is just how I do my Instagram carousels, and I would throw that in there. And so I might link these two actually. So that's 2, 3, and you can later. That's this. And then I wanted to show you, yeah, the mock-ups too. If you wanted to do a mock-up, let's say I'm going to do this one, you can also connect the image here. As long as that, if you have mock-ups like this, as long as it's at the front. So let's do it. I mean, I probably wouldn't show 2 pillows, personally. I just do it. Okay, that's good. So we've connected everything. Then you want to remember to press advanced options. And I change it. You only get these options for naming it, but I change it to data in title column. So that way it's easier for me to find later if it's actually named by what the fuck is. And then you can choose where you want to save it. So you could make a folder that's like all your mock-ups. And if not, it will just make you. Yeah, so I was using this one. Sometimes forget to press it, but Clipart mockups from automation. That works. And you want individual designs, not multiple pages. Otherwise, you would put everything into one, but you want it to be individual. Then we press create. And it's doing its magic. And if we scroll, you can see the end, it added a tab called design at the end of all of them. And it put them there. It also, yeah, it did it to my folder. So it just creates a new folder each time, which I don't love. It's making my folders a bit messy, but that's okay. Then you can see I have my 3 here. So this is where you'll have to go in and clean it up. But it still saves you so much time because now I just get to like fiddle around with this. We'll do one together. And what I would do actually is I would also pull up that pack again that I have ready in Canva. Like I said, I don't usually do this, but I wanted to try making a background. Yeah, I think that's cute. Let me try the other ones too. Yeah, I don't like how this shows. This is when you would Usually I don't use that. Usually I just use that. And I'm wondering if I don't like the contrast because these are quite light images. Let's play with this one. No, I didn't like that. Oh yeah, okay. So anyways, then you would just fiddle around with your images. Oh, let's erase those. Making some bigger, and if I have it pulled up, I can easily pull over ones I want to. That's why, like, I used to, like I said, be more diligent about having the accent image and having the main images, but now I just let it as needed. Okay, I look this a little bit. Let me know if anybody does have questions. Where is that one? This guy, where it's something else there. Okay, this one's so cute too. Yeah, these guys are cute. I think I'm happy with that. Switch it. I really like this one. I also like the bonnet. I'm happy. I do kind of like the background. Like, I'll just compare for a second. But yeah, I feel like it kind of makes it stand out a little bit. Like I said, I haven't done this before. I'm just gonna try it out. These Easter ducks. And then you can see all these images are linked, so easy peasy. And then you would just delete like the frogs at the end, don't need to be there. And then I would delete that whole page because it doesn't need to be there. And then I may format this a little bit. So, I may not. Well, even just dragging this down here, making those like that. And that may be all I do. And I haven't ever done the digital images, but I'm wondering if I have to specify that they are digital papers included. I kind of don't think I do. I'd love your guys' opinion, but I think it's just they're unique images. It's obvious. It's not, I'm not even saying transparent PNGs in my description. Maybe in my description that's clear, but I think it's fine. It is. Just gonna make that guy bigger. It's gonna be bigger. It's pretty good. I put the same image twice, so I'm gonna clean that up. Let's do this one. This is where I may try to put some images that I didn't put on the front, just to show more variety of what's in the pack for people. There. And you can see it pulled the number, it pulled the title, so you can see where those all happened. And then that would be my mock-ups. And then, yeah, so one of those wasn't linked. These were not linked properly, the Pinterest ones, which we didn't do. So, but if I wanted, let's say, and I forgot to do the title and everything too. But if you wanted to create pins quickly, you could do that and then always just drag them in. My IG posts are ready-ish. Like I said, I would just copy this. So it's a bit of fiddling, but I go like this. Control C and copied it. It doesn't do it perfectly like that. Put Listen, I'm always too far to the right every time. And then I would center all these and just fix this a little bit because again, because the sizing is different on Instagram, which you don't need to. Just wanted to show you ways that I speed up my process now that I'm also marketing Instagram more. I like to put in some of these posts. But you can see it tagged these just fine. Oh, actually I didn't do it because it's doing some images. So I would maybe go over there. Anyways, that duck didn't look great. So I would try maybe a different one. Maybe I'll just say darker because it has to kind of fit. And then I would move these to the back. So just I could. And then those would be ready. And then personally, I would move these up here so that I know they're mock-ups. And then I'll show you one other step I do. Sorry, I just have to move around to see my screen. I rename all of these. So I would say Easter duck. And this is just to get more SEO keyword search. Duck with eggs. Usually I would maybe grab tags from Insight Factory to do this. Easter. Or I would just come up with things because it's still going to help the SEO if there's different words. Watercolor ducks. Because when you're actually adding those images into Etsy, it does know the names of them. Duckless flowers. For example. Then I would download them. And then for those using the product plan, what I would do next is I would throw say these first 3 images into ChatGPT. I do have an AI tool that I use for this that is going to be available soon in my AI toolkit, but you could use just a ChatGPT chat and just say something along the lines of, please write me a summary for this pack because you need a short description summary. And then I would throw it into here and then I would go through this process, which is not something I'll get into in this because you don't need this as automation to do this. But that's how I do it at the same time. I do my mockups and I put them into the spreadsheet and I do it all at the same time. Okay, that's everything. I hope that was, let's see. Yeah, let me know if there's questions. Let me know if you think I missed anything. I hope that was helpful. I know it was pretty long. And if there's anything I can do to help you in this process, let me know. But other than that, I'll leave you with that. And if questions come up after you watch it, I'm also available to answer any of those. Okay, thanks everyone for watching and for being here.